Well, I mean, there's a whole wide resources now that we're seeing in this referendum. For the first time in any real campaign, I think there's so much more available in terms of social media, Facebook, Twitter. Then you also have to look at online pages like Wings Over Scotland, Newsnight Scotland, and other online media. But of course, there are people who rely on the mainstream media and rely on television and newspapers, and unfortunately, they're not getting a fair view of this. So really, what we're in the Yes campaign and Labour for Independence and all the groups is we're trying to hit as many houses as we can and come to as many events as this so that people can actually hear an equal side and hear the right side of the story from the Yes Scotland campaign.
Well, I think creatives are kind of naturally small-eye independent. I mean, they love risk and opportunity, and they're very resilient. They can survive under different circumstances. So I think a lot of them are looking at independence as a kind of an extension of how they do their own practice and do their own craft. But I think one of the things about an independent Scotland, if you look at what Creative Scotland is doing at the moment, per head we've got a much better arts budget than anybody else in the rest of the country. And I think also if we become independent, you'll have a global platform for your work. So there's no doubt that when you actually get the powers of a nation state, you can take your work wider across the world. I think we're an English-speaking nation. We have an incredible opportunity to do what the Scandinavians do with their Borgen and the bridge and the killing and all the rest of it. I mean, the amount of talent is here in Scotland to make that possible. Again, if we get independence, we'll have our own broadcasting corporation and SBS, where we pay in about £350 million and we get about £200 million out in terms of spending. So we've actually got £150 million to play with if we get control of our budget for a Scottish broadcasting service. Which again, I think we can do incredible things with that, both in terms of creative stuff, fictional stuff, but also in terms of how we represent the country to itself. I think we've got a whole new news media to think about as well. So I think the possibilities for the creative classes and their independence is exciting, and I think that's why almost to a man and a woman they're all supporting a yes vote.
Well, talk to each other, that's what women do. There's a lot of women who are supporting independence, who are undecided about independence. They can access information and tools through the Women for Independence website and use that to talk to their friends and colleagues and family. That's what I would like, because in an optimistic sense, when people start discussing the issues, the substance, they might be a wee bit unsure, a wee bit fearful maybe, but then when they start talking about it, in my experience in the listening groups that Women for Independence have conducted, people shift to yes. So talk to people, that's the message.